Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're having a magnificent Monday. We're bringing back Magnificent Monday. That's going to become a thing. Trust me on that one. I hope you're having a magnificent Monday. We're kicking off another beautiful week, becoming the best versions of ourselves, doing it together, and ultimately winning the day. And you already know, if you're not quite feeling it, a little bit of that and avalanches of prosperity and abundance coming your way as, of course, we roll in another beautiful week. And what we're going to be talking about on today's video is why the food that you're eating definitely attributes to your vibration of energy, and how to make sure that your food is in line with raising that vibration. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, let's get into why it's important to make sure the food that you're eating is of good quality, and how exactly it's going to help you in manifesting the life of your dreams. Now, for me, when I heard this, it didn't make a lot of sense. I didn't really ever think to myself once that it was important for me to be eating healthy foods, and that if I wasn't eating healthy foods, that it was going to help me achieve my dreams. That really didn't click with me too much. And what ended up happening is I started to follow successful people, and I started to figure out what they were doing and figure out their nutrition habits, things like that. And one of the things that one of my mentors actually told me was, you want to make sure that you're eating food that's going to help you in increasing your vibration. And I said to myself, well, why is that important, and how exactly is food affecting my vibration? So the first thing that this mentor said was, they said, well, what you want to understand is that unfortunately meat or any sort of other foods that are processed, they are being filled with chemicals that ultimately are not helping you and aren't good for you. And the example I was given was, I was a big potato chip eater. Sour cream and onion potato chips for the win. Loved them. Found out that, and my mentor told me this, was that there's monosodium glutamate in there. And monosodium glutamate, this was before this was widely publicized, but monosodium glutamate is something that it actually is tougher for your body to digest. Therefore, you are using more energy to ultimately process this food. So the first thing that he said he said that because there are organisms in this food that aren't true to nature and aren't true to your physiology and the foods that you actually need, your body's working overtime to ultimately process this food itself. And so by doing that, you're not going to have as much energy when it comes to going after the things that you want in life, which that to me made total sense. Now, the next thing that my mentor had told me was that the foods that I was putting in my body with the MSGs, the GMOs, the aspartames, all that good stuff, ultimately what that was doing was, since this was synthetic stuff that was being put into my body and wasn't true to my DNA or my physiology, it's ultimately causing sickness-causing cells called free radicals to thrive in my body. And so you can look up what a free radical is, but essentially the easiest way I can explain it to you is, free radicals are sickness-causing cells. This is what the flu is caused by, cancers are caused by, any types of disease. Disease, of course, that is. Dis-ease is the way I like to say it, but any sort of disease is attributed to free radicals in your body. So by eating these foods that have these synthetic organisms in them and things that aren't true to nature, essentially I'm introducing poisons or toxins into my body. And now not only is it tougher for my body to process this food, but also it is going to cause more disease within my body. And so ultimately what I'm doing is my body's working double time to get rid of these toxins and ultimately create a thriving environment. And so that made a lot of sense to me as well. So ultimately these things that I was eating, they weren't helping my body. I was getting nutrition from it, absolutely, but there were also some other things in there that were causing some disease in my body and some free radicals to thrive as well. So then we got into vibration of energy. And this is one that really was like a light bulb going off in my head. obviously on this channel, what we talk a lot about is raising your vibration as high as you could potentially get it, right? So the higher your vibration is, the more you're attracting or manifesting high vibration things into your life. Gold is one of the highest vibrations in the universe itself. So when your vibration is high, it's easier for you to attract things like gold or like money or like things that create high vibrations of energy. So when he said that this affects my vibration of energy, this is the one that my ears really perked up and I go, okay, I need to listen to what's going on. So basically, when your body is introducing itself, or you're introducing toxins or things that aren't meant to be in your body into your body, ultimately what's happening is you have two different things going on in your cells. You have brand new cells being introduced that have a higher vibration with your thoughts, but then those higher vibrations are then combated with lower vibration foods. Things that have monosodium glutamate in them, things that have aspartame in them, things that have GMOs in them. Again, things that are not true to nature and aren't true to your physiology. So you have a combat of energy going on here. You have a high energy vibration coming off from your brain, which your brain is consistently producing new cells all the time. That's being introduced to a body that has toxins in it. So you take that high vibration of energy that your brain's putting out essentially, and you start decreasing that vibration of energy because now it's starting to assimilate with the rest of the cells in your body. Therefore, what used to be a higher vibration cell is now being introduced into an environment that has a lower vibration, ultimately having a contradiction of energy and frequencies of energy in your physiology and in your DNA structure. So essentially, when you go to try to manifest something or create something in your life, your thoughts are definitely behind you as long as you're thinking positive and your focus is there. However, when it comes to feeling like as if I already have it and feeling as if I already have that dream job or I already have that dream house or I already have that dream car, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to feel that vibration of energy because your body is so used to vibrating at a lower frequency because of these toxins that are in your food. Again, the monosodium glutamates, the aspartames, the GMOs, all of this stuff. So it's really important that when you're buying food, you want to make sure that the food that you're buying is as close to as what nature intended it as possible. And the example I'll give you is I actually just got done grocery shopping. The eggs that I buy are organic eggs. They obviously always have the USDA seal of approval. That's not my big thing, but it definitely helps. But one of the biggest things on here, especially when it comes to eggs, is there are no antibiotics in these chickens. Also, on top of that, they're raised cage-free. Now, think about this. If you are buying eggs that these hens are not given any sort of antibiotics, right? Essentially, what is happening in that chicken is they're able to roam free, which is their natural state, and they're not also being injected with any sorts of antibiotics or anything that in turn we then eat, whether it be in the yolk of the egg or when we go to eat the chickens as well. So what you want to make sure is that you're buying food that's as close to nature intended. So when it comes to eggs, I always look at cage-free or free range is the ultimate. If you can get free range eggs, that's perfect because essentially what they allow the hens to do is just run free in a field. Whereas cage-free, they're still confined in a little bit, so they're not able to do what they normally do, but still really great eggs. But ultimately, you want to try to get those free range eggs. When it comes to beef, this is a big one. I'm a huge meat eater. What I do when it comes to this is I look for meat that hasn't been processed and has not been, again, the cows haven't been raised, they've been naturally raised just to graze out in a field, but also no growth hormones pumped into them to make them bigger, because obviously we eat that, those toxins go into our body secondhand, and then also no antibiotics for the cows as well. I want them to live a long, happy, healthy, natural life like nature intended. If they're confined in or they're being pumped full of growth hormones, whether it be chickens or beef, That's a big thing, because then I then eat that beef, or I then eat that chicken, or I then eat those eggs, and I start introducing toxins into my body as well. So you want to make sure that you're eating food that's as close to nature intended as possible, because again, this is what's going to help our vibration climb to where we want it to be. Therefore, letting our vibration of energy be at a more natural high level, where we're not combating it, where we're not introducing a lower vibration into our ultimate DNA structure. Therefore, things are a lot easier to attain for you. So I hope this video helped you. So thankful for the support. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. If you haven't, you already know, hit that subscribe button. It's right there. It's right there in all of its glory. Hit it. It's right there. Other than that, have a great rest of your week. Peace.